What's good, family? So you guys know the market that we're in right now. A lot of people made a lot of money last year, the year before last, trading crypto. Well, obviously the crypto market is down. And for those of you guys who were depending on crypto, a lot of you guys are taking a major hit. And you're finding that you're not as profitable. So what is one of the things that you guys can do um, to diversify your ability to see consistent gains in your portfolio? Well, one of those things is day trading. Okay. Now, obviously, I've been day trading for many, many years, but really on a more so consistent basis for not too long, but long enough. And I tell you what, man, it is, it's a lot of fun. You can make a lot of money in a very short period of time. I think the most important thing is following strict rules, which we will get into today a bit. But what I wanted to show you guys basically is the trade of the day for me with this particular ticker NIO, but not just the trade of the day. I'm not just going to talk about what worked. I want to talk to you guys about how I got to this position of taking this trade. Okay, and it's quick. It shouldn't take very long here, but some very important things that's going to really help you guys out. So first of all, you guys have to understand this, right? I read a lot. I study a lot. I get obsessive about certain things. And to basically talk to you guys about what I have going on this screen, okay, to help you guys understand what I'm dealing with here, right? This ticker NIO, what you're looking at, first of all, this orange line that you see here, this is the 9 EMA, okay, the 9 exponential moving average, okay. If you know anything about mathematics, you know that exponential averages give more weight to more recent time periods, right? So it's a 9-period exponential moving average with a higher emphasis on more recent time periods, okay? Now, general rule of thumb, if a stock is trading above the 9 EMA, that is a bullish trend, okay? Your price is, you can pretty much reasonably gather that it should continue to move up. Doesn't mean that it always works. I like to use indicators the way that a jury or a judge would look at evidence, okay? A judge or a jury was not at the scene of a crime. They don't know 100% what happened. But when you start to add up the evidence, you can come to a reasonable conclusion. So everything you see here for me is evidence, okay? Starting with the top, the 9 EMA. The second below it, the yellow, is the 20 simple moving average, okay? More of a lagging indicator. It's a 20-period moving average, like looking at the last 20 time periods. And of course, NI, what you're looking at here, I didn't tell you guys this, but this is a 1-minute chart. Of course, I have the daily, the 5-minute chart, and the 1-minute chart. I use them all when I'm making decisions on trading, okay? The third line you guys see down here, very important, VWAP, volume weighted average price, okay? Very important indicator in the world of trading, okay? Now, one thing that I have recently started to use, and I tell you guys, they work tremendously well. What you're looking at here, these green bars, okay, they're called pivot points, okay? Now, of course, this platform I'm using is Street Smart Edge through Charles Schwab, okay? That's my broker. But most brokerage accounts have pivot points. They tend to act as levels of support and resistance. A general rule of thumb goes that if a price is above a pivot point, that is a signal to buy. Now, why am I giving away so much information here? Because I believe in giving away value, right? Now, I'm not saying that you guys can plug this information in and immediately become profitable. And I'm also not necessarily giving you guys all of the details in terms of why these things work. And I'm also not giving you all of my trading strategy as well, but I'm giving you guys, I'm pointing you in the right direction for sure. Okay. What you see below this, also a very important indicator. Okay. This is the stochastic oscillator. Okay. Stochastic oscillator. If you guys are traders, if you trade the market, no matter if you swing trade, day trade, long term, whatever it is, this tool is amazing. Okay. I'm not going to get into the details of how to use it, but what I can tell you guys is it works very well. Okay. And one thing that I recently found out about, which I'm going to be using more so, is OBV, the on balance volume. Okay. On balance volume. It's different from a volume indicator. Sometimes volume is not always true to momentum. So the whole point of establishing and understanding volume is to conclude or to be able to make a reasonable decision on the strength of a trend. Okay, so you can see a price moving up, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's moving up because there are more buyers in the market. You would assume that that is why a price would move up, or vice versa. If a price is moving down, you would assume the reason it is because there's more sellers in the market. Okay, but that is not always the case. And on balance volume is a tremendous gauge to come to a conclusion about that situation and what's happening in the market. So as I say, I use all these things to build a case for my positions. Now let's talk about the actual trades that I took. Okay, as you guys can see, NIO, I've been watching this thing for days. I've traded it multiple times in the last couple of weeks. The thing I love about this stock is its trends tend to be healthy. Okay, and what I mean by healthy is they're not choppy. They're not all over the place. Okay, the trends are not way up here, way down here, way up here. So when I see that, I'm avoiding it like the plague. Okay, those are not the opportunities that you want to look for when it comes to day trading or any type of swing trading at all, really, period. What you want is a ticker with a strong, healthy trend that has regular or irregular pullbacks that provide entry points for you if you want to go long, which tends to be how I trade. So I wasn't watching this from the open, but I was alerted about it on my Street Smart Edge software for the fact that it had multiple consistent or consecutive bullish candlesticks. Okay, so when I got in, I was just basically looking for a good entry point. Two of them happened here, right about market open. You see the consolidation around the pivot point, as you can see, spot on. These pivot points are they work very well. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in here to the first trade that I took with NIO. Okay, so essentially the pullback to the VWAP, which is again indicative of a very healthy pullback. If this pullback had broken VWAP, breaking the 20 SMA is odd, but it's not too non-typical. Okay, but breaking VWAP is a bad sign. Okay, on a trend. So it touched VWAP nearly, and then it basically continued on about its trend. So when I started to see this large candlestick, obviously you can see the volume increasing here, and you can also see on the stochastic, you can see that K past D, okay, which is a buying signal. So I went ahead and got in and just essentially rode this wave up to about 51.75, a profit of about 20 cents per share. Okay, now again, you might ask yourself, what is 20 cents per share? It all is relative to your position size, and your position size is based on your account value. Okay, I recommend to new day traders, right? First of all, you should be trading in a simulator account so you can prove to be consistently profitable. Secondly, you really should not be risking any more than 2% of your account size with any one given trade. Very important that you understand that. Now, what do I mean by risking more than 2%? Okay, so if you have a $100,000 account size, am I saying that your position size can't be more than $2,000? No, it's not what I'm saying. When you place a trade, you have the ability in most platforms to also tie in with that trade a bracket order for a stop loss. Okay, so usually my stop losses, I like to keep them tight as possible. That's why entry point is so important to me. One of the many reasons why. So I usually like to have my stop losses anywhere from 10 to about 20 cents from my entry point. Okay, meaning that the difference between the price point, your entry price point, and your stop loss multiplied by the number of shares, whatever that value is, should never be more than 2% of your total account size. Never. Okay, that gives you time to grow your account, to scale your account, especially if you're a new trader. But even if you're a seasoned veteran trader, you don't want to blow your account up. That's how many people's day trading careers end very quickly. Okay, and when I first started day trading, it did happen to me in an old account. Okay, because I didn't understand these rules. I'm trying to give you guys rules that you can follow to be successful, right? So that was a successful trade there. And once I saw that and I started to just observe the ticker, I seen that it was pretty much consistent in its trends. I pretty much was waiting for good entry points. Another one I got in was here, pulled back to the 20. I got in again here, rode the wave up about 25, 30 cents a share. Now understand that when I say riding up, it doesn't mean that I am waiting till it gets to a bearish signal and then I'm selling everything. No, I get in and I scale out, okay, to make sure that I always get profit, always, okay. I don't want to risk it taking one big position in and then one big position out. I take a big position in, and in the future I will also scale up, but right now my comfort level is scaling out and taking profit along the way. But this was my most profitable trade of the day. It happened here. There was a strong pullback. I was a little uncertain about uh, what the market would do after this. It pulled back. You can see here actually below the 20, well below the 20. But again, I had confidence in NIO, but notice as well too that it happened around a whole dollar amount. But essentially what I was waiting for was a good entry point. Again, the stochastic oscillator was my friend in this instance. Not only that, but volume. You can see here that as the bearish trend, the corrective candles are happening, the on balance volume is decreasing. Okay, so this is a good sign for me because this is telling me that this price reduction is not necessarily related to more and more sellers being in this market. So it helps me gauge when the bearishness of the market, when the bearishness of that trend, or the bearish trend, I should say, is weakening based on volume. Okay. So again, as I saw this bullish candlestick, the first, I didn't jump the gun. I didn't want to be presumptive or make an emotional trade. But when I saw the next candlestick with the wick, and I'm gonna zoom in here, then I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get out of here. I think I've given you a lot to dissect, but nonetheless, when you see this type of candlestick with a very large body and a very small wick, okay, that means that the price never really pushed that low below. It never pushed very low below the opening price point, okay, which was approximately 52.82. The price dropped to 52.80, perhaps maybe 52.81, and then just rose up. And when I started to see that candlestick was not going to drop much lower than I could reasonably conclude that it wasn't going to drop lower than that original price point. Then when I started to see the stochastic oscillator, again, K crossing D, and I started to see volume moving in the right direction on the on balance volume, confirmation. So I jumped in, wrote this trade up to about 25-30 cents a share, all the way from 52.90 to about 52.20, 52.30. Right in here when this candle, this little pullback happened, I got out, right? So a very profitable day trading this company, this ticker NIO. Okay, I never know before the market opens what tickers I'm going to trade. I let the market talk to me. I use Street Smart software to get alerts based on certain criteria that I like that fits my trading style. Okay. So again, if you guys have questions, again, I wanted to keep this video short but very informative. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop them below in the description box. And I'll be glad to get to them, all of them. Okay. I know this is a little bit of a change up for some of my usual content, but this nonetheless is very important to me. And I want it, if it can be a help and a blessing to you guys, then it will be as well too. One last thing I'm gonna say before I get out of here is this. Today was the first day that I prayed before I traded. And one of the things that I prayed to God for was for wisdom, right? Because I'm not doing this just for myself. I'm doing this because I have goals for the future and different things that I want to be able to accomplish, right? With regards to ministry goals and life goals and different things of that sort. And so this is a vehicle that I'm using and that I'm trying to build up, that I'm trying to build momentum with to help facilitate those goals. So I like to put God in the center of those things. And I think that today I have to give him the glory at this time because, me taking that moment to pray really calmed me down. Okay. And I feel like when I'm calm, I'm cerebral and I'm able to make, wise, logical decisions, right? As I've tried to outline to you guys today. So, I hope you guys got some value out of this, like, share if you love it, and subscribe. I'm out.